What's up, role players? What a week we've had of announcements. DLC announcements, announcements of upcoming announcements, and EA are making a Lord of the Rings mobile game.
Not like this.
Path of Exile announced their Sentinel expansion this week, adding new content, systems, and quality of life changes to the game. I won't go into too much detail about the game as a whole because honestly, I don't know a whole lot about it. The game confuses the hell out of me. It's very complex, but I know it is also very popular. The key feature revolves around the Sentinels and their challenges. Quote, our May expansion contains the Sentinel Challenge League, 20 Atlas Keystone passives, 7 Uber boss fights, new Pinnacle unique items, revamped monster modifiers, game controller support, new quality of life features, a revamped challenge system, and much more. A lot of that sounds confusing to me, but hey, more power to you. The Sentinels expansion is slated to release on PC on May 13th and PlayStation and Xbox later on May 18th. I would love to check out Path of Exile one day because I've heard so many good things about it. A couple of my good friends are like super into it. I would really like to spend more time and actually sit down and play it, but I just have no idea where to find the time to get so deep into a game like this. The Summer Games Fest was announced this week by Jeff Keighley. The Summer Games Fest for 2022, it was announced and will be held on Thursday, June 9th at 11 a.m. PT time, or for you Australians like me, that is Friday, June 10th at 4 a.m. Come on, Jeff, 4 a.m. I need to sleep, man. I'm already getting up for the Bethesda conference. Now you want me to get up at 4 a.m. as well? Get it together, Jeff. We obviously don't know what we'll see here, but Jeff always brings a wide range of games from all sorts of different publishers. I mean, we got tons of Elden Ring information at Summer Games Fest last year, so I would definitely expect there to be some really solid announcements. Jeff Keighley knows how to bring it at these kind of conferences. It wouldn't surprise me if we see some Xbox teasers for some of their games like Avowed or Starfield to then explain more at their own showcase a couple of days later, so maybe keep an eye out for that as well. And just to lightly touch on as well, IGN announced their Summer of Gaming is also returning this year, which is essentially IGN's version. I don't know why everyone's calling these things the Summer of Gaming and Summer Game Fest. Can we just call them like fake E3 or something? But IGN have said that they are featuring a multi-day event with new trailers, behind the scenes interviews, and more from your favorite developers. IGN will be the hub for all of the biggest news, and our experts will be there for every major game reveal. So keep an eye on IGN for their own reveals. They will have their own indie reveals and smaller titles, but it'll be kind of their own event encompassing the showcases around Summer Games Fest and the Xbox event and any other showcases that do occur around this time. Bethesda and Fallout 76 have announced the Expeditions DLC or expansion, whatever you want to call it, is coming to the public test server. The Fallout 76 Expeditions, The Pit is what it is being dubbed, and it is coming to the public test server very soon. There's no specific date, however they did talk about it a lot in the Inside the Vault last week. This was announced last year during the Xbox and Bethesda showcase. The Expeditions is the first DLC for Fallout 76, taking players outside of Appalachia. Expeditions are repeatable missions for high-level players. Quote, starting or joining an expedition will kick off a new mission for you and up to 3 other teammates. Our first mission, Union Jews, will take you into the depths of the Pit, a city we have been eager to revisit since it appeared in Fallout 3. Big fan of the Pit in Fallout 3 and just Fallout 3 in general, so pretty cool to return to the Pit. They did give some screenshots of what the Pit will look like, but we haven't actually seen any gameplay of the Expeditions yet, but I would say that's very close around the corner with it coming to the public test server very soon. There is more information around the specifics of how the mechanic will work on the Inside the Vault article, which I'll have linked in the description for you Fallout 76 players. I am very intrigued by this update. You may not know, but I've put hundreds of hours into Fallout 76. I even used to make content for it here on the channel, but there hasn't been a decent sized update for the game in a very long time, and I hope this new repeatable Expeditions content is a really rewarding, repeatable mechanic, because there isn't much to do at the end game once you've completed everything other than just farm cosmetics, which isn't really enjoyable to me personally. And we touched on it earlier, but EA is making a Lord of the Rings RPG mobile game. I'm not going to go into too much detail here because there practically isn't really any information, but the game will be called The Lord of the Rings Heroes of Middle-earth, and it is essentially a Lord of the Rings version of the Star Wars game Galaxy of Heroes, which is a mobile game where you pick up characters and you use those characters to fight in like a strategic RPG kind of turn-based system, and it's essentially a Lord of the Rings version of that, which is going to be littered with microtransactions and all kinds of shenanigans, no doubt. So yeah, There's not much more to say. I wouldn't expect much out of this. It's probably going to be terrible, but it's just worth pointing out as I'm a big Lord of the Rings nerd. I love Lord of the Rings, and I was a little bit disappointed to see that this was happening. All right, let's move on to some more positive news. The Salt and Sacrifice game was released this week on the 10th of May. It is a 2D Souls-like with multiplayer featuring a large and labyrinthian world filled with scavengers, secrets, traps, and powerful guardians. It is on Epic, PlayStation 4, and PlayStation 5. There is no Steam release currently, so we can't look at the Steam reviews for this one, but it did have a 73 on Metacritic at the time of recording, so decent enough reviews. Not heaps of reviews out at the moment, but would be interesting to see how it does land. And Achilles Legends Untold is launching this week. It launches on the day this video comes out, which is a Souls-like action RPG hitting early access on Steam only. Chances are it may come to console in the future once it is out of its early access period. V Rising is also coming to Steam early access on May 17th. This is a title that I hadn't heard of until this week, and it's absolutely now on my radar. It has a lot of potential to be one of those indies that just absolutely explode out of nowhere. It is a gothic open world vampire survival action RPG with some base building vibes to it. Looks really interesting. I'm very intrigued to see what this turns out to be when it does come out. There have been some closed betas and it hits the early access on May 17th, so it might be worth checking out when it does come out. And if you like really hardcore and difficult RPGs, then Outward is getting a definitive edition release on May 17th as well, which includes all of the DLCs, graphical and feature updates to the game. It's free on PC if you own the base game and the Three Brothers expansion. It will just get an update for your game when that does come out. I always wanted to get into this one. I just never found the time to fully commit to it. I do own it, and I've always wanted to actually just sit down and learn its complex systems. It's supposed to be one of those really hard RPGs to get into, but once you do get going, it's supposed to be really good, and I really do want to sit down and actually spend some time with it. And maybe I'll give it a crack with this upcoming release. The game of the week this week is Rogue Legacy 2. Now, Rogue Legacy 2 came out a couple of weeks ago. I did put up a Twitter poll to say, hey, what indie game should I pick up? And everyone said, hey, go and play this. So I did. And it's pretty fun. I'm really enjoying it. I'm not super far in it yet, so I can't give really concrete opinions, but there's a lot of Souls-like games and these 2D roguelike games that are kind of coming out at the moment from indie studios. And considering we don't have any AAA releases for I don't know, since till October, I think, there's going to be plenty of these smaller titles to check out in the RPG space. In the meantime, if you want to dip your toes into something a little bit different, and there's plenty of things to try it, especially in the upcoming weeks with the Achilles Legends Untold and V Rising and Outward coming out. We'll probably talk about V Rising and Outward a little bit more next week as well. But Rogue Legacy is a lot of fun. I really like the heritage system, or whatever you call it, where you die and you come back as one of your ancestors. I think it's the ancestry system, whatever it's called. But I really like that, and the classes as you unlock and you expand your town, and there is a sense of progression, which is something that I find the best roguelikes always have a really solid sense of progression. Even if you die and you lose everything that you had on that run, there has to be a way to progress, and I love progressing in games. It's the main reason why I play games, is to feel a sense of progression, and Rogue Legacy definitely achieves that, which is really cool to see. What are you excited for this week? Let me know in the comments down below. Also, how are you feeling about this series? Again, I'm always asking for your feedback. I'm probably going to at least do one more. We're going to extend this out to a month and then decide if we're going to continue doing these RPG roundups, but let me know in the comments down below. Thank you for watching this video till the end. Thank you to our members for supporting the channel. My name is Norza, and I hope you have a great day.